Hello, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us on today's webinar. My name is Manny Aguilar. I'm here with Mike Lugo,
How you doing, everybody?
and we're going to be going over our VMS program on this webinar. We're going to be doing an in-depth overview slash training, yeah, we're going to get started in a little bit. Waiting for a few more people to log in. I got a couple messages, but yeah, today we're gonna be going over all the functions and getting you guys caught up on any changes that were made with to the VMS and making sure that you're aware of all the new features and functions, everything from facial recognition to license plate recognition. We're gonna get started. We're Bolide. A little background here on Bolide. We're a camera and recorder and accessory CCTV camera recorder accessory manufacturer. We've been in business. I think we're celebrating our 30th year, right, Mike?
Yeah, I believe so.
And we have offices here in San Dimas, California, Mexico City, and Colombia. So well established, been in business for a long time, quality products. And I'm happy to provide you guys with the latest and greatest in CCTV. In today's webinar, we're going to do the overview. We're going to be going over menus, icon, how to navigate the VMS in depth. I know that we have our audience that are both end users and integrators, so we're gonna try to cover, or we are gonna cover, all the little nooks and crannies of the VMS, and get you all caught up with new functions and applications. We're gonna be going over live view, playback, AI searches, configurations, and everything in between. This is going to be a little bit on the longer side on the webinar, so stay with us. At the end of the webinar, we're going to raffle off a couple of Wi-Fi cameras. What I like to call is our little doggy cam. It's wireless. You charge it, you aim it at the that little doggy that was left home alone, and you could see him whenever you want and talk to him for that matter. Yeah, let's get started.
So I'm going to go over some system requirements really quick. We get a lot of questions. We get customers calling in saying, I want to run the VMS. I just bought a system. What kind of computer do I need? So I'm going to go over the minimum requirements and the recommended requirements. So minimum requirements is about an Intel i3. We recommend the i7. Of course, it's the best processor you can get. A minimum of 4 gigs of RAM. We recommend 16. Depending on how many cameras you have, this can get very CPU and memory. It could take up a lot of resources if you have a lot of cameras. We recommend Windows 7. Of course, Windows 11 is the newest out, so you always want the newest and greatest. 720 monitor. Of course, all of our cameras do have the 4K output, so we do recommend getting a 4K monitor to get the most out of your cameras. And at least 256 gigs of free hard drive space. Of course, we recommend at least a terabyte in case you want to record to the actual computer itself.
So pretty much you could download it and use this program on your laptop and your daily computer, right? You shouldn't have any problems. If you have a system that's on the bigger side, then that's when you start considering, kind of allocating a PC just for the.
Correct. And again, this is Windows and Mac, both. So we got both sides.
All right, so we're gonna start with setting up a new recorder. So let's say I'm a new customer, I'm a new integrator. I considering downloading this video, and we're going to show you how from step one how everything is set up. Also, we're going to be going over, the DVRs and the NVR models that work with the VMS. You want to tell us, Mike, what models
Yeah, so
are compatible?
basically all of our NX series recorders from our 4-channel all the way up to our 100, what is it, 256 channel,
256 channel is the
all
new
compatible with the VMS, as well as all of our NX cameras. So we have a wide variety of products that go with our VMS. So we're gonna jump right into it. I'm gonna show you guys where to download it. Give me a second. Let me switch between my things here.
Yeah, we're gonna go directly to our website and kind of show you step by step, you know, how to get to what you need to download.
So off the bat, what we want to do is we want to go to bolideco.com. That's our website. And from there, we're going to go to the resource tab and downloads. Right off the bat, what you're going to see here is our software section. The second, right in the middle, right here, it says Bolide VMS for Mac and Windows. There's a little cloud right here to the right. I can click that button. It's going to take me to the download section. You'll see here that there are 2 downloads. DMG, if you're familiar with Mac, you know that's a Mac program. And EXE, if you're familiar with Windows, we'll know that's a Windows program. So we have both there on the link. Go ahead and you can download it. You'll see it depending on what browser you're using. It'll go to your download section. And from there, we'll have it, we can install. Let me go back to my slides here. So I'm going to jump right into the VMS itself. Let me pull that up for you. Give me a second.
This is our can they see this one?
No.
Now this is our homepage here on our VMS. So once everything is downloaded, this is where you're gonna go to different areas of the VMS and you know do what you need to do with it. But to start off with, we're gonna go to device management and show you how to load up a recorder.
So there's a few ways that we can add. You can see I already have my demo there, but I'm gonna add a new system. There's a couple of ways to add it. If you're on the network that the recorder's on, it's really easy. I can do an auto search. It's going to search my network. Right away, you see this came up. I have a few recorders here. I can select my recorder. I'm going to add. I'll give it my username, default admin. And then I'm going to add my password. Add. That's it. That's simple. I'll go back to my equipment. There's my new recorder right there that I just added. Very simple to add.
So let's say that the recorder is not yet on the network and you want to kind of load it manually. What do we do there?
So very easy, just as easy to add. I can hit this plus button here, and you're going to see that I come up with my add device information. I'm actually going to go here and just edit this one so you can see this is our demo. Go ahead and fill out the information that you need. Give it a name, what type of login you're doing. I have it set for IP, but normally you would do ID. There's my ID. That's the QR code that's on top of the recorder or the P2P ID. Protocol private. The port that we're using, it's usually 9000. We have a bunch of different devices here, so I have a different port. That's why you're seeing that. Username, password, that's it. Very simple. And you're live, you're ready to go. I can go back to my main view, see my cameras here, and drag this over, and there are all my cameras. I'm going to go more in depth into this live window once I go through all these menus because there's a lot to go through here. So let me go back to so now that we know how to add a device, let's go through some of these windows. What can we do once we add our device? So the first one I'm going to go through is playback, right? So this is how you're going to retrieve video from your recorder. I'm going to do my drop down here. I'm going to go to my demo, select the cameras that I want. I'm going to select 4 cameras from here. Real easy. That's the first option. Below that, you'll see what type of stream that I want to download, right? Okay. You can do mainstream or substream. We always recommend that you record mainstream only, so you save some data. What type of recording, right? So I have all right now, but you'll notice that there is some different colors here. You know, different colors indicating what type of recording you're going to see on the timeline. And let me go ahead and hit that search so you'll see what I'm talking about. Again, these colors here on the side, you'll see on my timeline, I have some blue, some yellow, some orange. I can go to my little key here and I can see what those recordings are. Yellow is motion, blue is an intelligent or AI, and green is constant recording. So I'm going to hit my play button.
Mike, really quick, what are the little lines? Let's explain to them what the little lines indicate on the, say, the solid green bar. What
Yeah,
are we
so the
looking at?
little lines are just kind of like bookmarks. It's a cleaning lady from last night cleaning up. They're bookmarks of what happened during the timeline. So the blue, there was an intelligence notification. If I got yellow, there was some motion that happened. Like I said, green is 24/7. You'll notice that some of them don't have green. I don't have 24/7 recording enabled on that channel. So I just wanted to show you guys the different ways to do it.
What's nice about this system here too is that you could do 24/7 and motion or any of the AI functions simultaneously. So you could actually record 24/7 and see when something happens, and that would actually give you an idea of where to search rather than going through the whole footage and just guessing and kind of spending, you know, hours and hours going through this stuff. It actually gives you a starting point of where to you know, where to search, where to look.
Yeah. And then, so how about backing up? Now I see my playback right here. I know it's recorded. How do I back this up? So there's a couple ways to do it. You'll notice there's some icons on the bottom here. This first one is download. If I hit this download button, it's going to tell me start time, end time, file size, and what I want to record. And then down here at the bottom, where do I want to save it? So I can just hit this, give myself a directory. You know, most of the time it's like desktop, something easy you can find. I can select that, my desktop, and then go ahead and select some files to download.
Can you download to a thumb drive from here?
You can. This is your PC, so you can download to any peripheral you have on your PC or your Mac, and you can go ahead and, we prefer, you know, maybe downloading to the desktop and then moving it over to the thumb drive. You can take it wherever you want, or maybe put it in some kind of online drive you might have, something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stop this just so I can move forward. So that's one way to download. The second way to download is, you see some scissors here, right? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna select the window that I want. I'm gonna hit the scissors, and you'll notice that I got two arrows here at the bottom, my start time and my end time, and I can expand this to how much I want to record, my start time and my end time. I can just move these around. You'll notice that those scissors have now became a disc. I hit that disc, same type of scenario like I did the first download. I can select where I want to save, go ahead and make that selection, and then start download. And there you'll see my status bar will start to go, and my video will be download. Stop that for now. Very easy. Let's go over a couple of these other icons that I have here at the bottom. Of course, there's a pause button to pause your playback, stop to stop the playback, reverse. This is going to reverse speed. So if you're doing ×2, ×4 playing, you can stop that and reverse it, you know, to almost frame by frame.
Yeah, it's not a rewind button.
Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of people think they could go
backwards,
but no, it's just to slow down. Like if you've accelerated the view, you could just slow it back down to normal.
Yep. That's a good point that Manny brought up. So how do I go backwards if I, you know, past what I'm viewing? Very easy. You just click on the timeline where you need to see, and that'll go back, forward. I can, wherever I click is where I'm going to be playing. So it's very easy to go backward and see these other video times. Next is a not fast forward, but it's ×2, ×4, ×8, ×16 play. And then lastly is single frame by frame. This next button here is for sound. If you have your sound enabled and you're doing voice recording, you're able to hear this. I can just hit that and I can adjust my volume of what I'm listening to. That's very easy to do.
Yes, some of our cameras have built-in mics. Not all of them, but there is certain models that have that that capability. Yeah, so that's where that function comes into play.
The next button here is Smart Search. I don't have Smart Search enabled. You can see that it's not. I didn't set that up, but Smart Search allows you to select an area, and I can search everything around that area. This next button here is to play all channels at one time, and this next one is to stop all channels at one time. Right, and this one here is our fisheye button to see fisheye recordings, and then I can also choose my layouts up to 16 channels of playback. And this last button here on the side is to do full screen. If I wanted to just have my whole screen viewing cameras and not worry with any of the toolbars on the side or on the left, I'm able to do that as well. And a simple escape will get us out of there. So moving on. The next one here is local playback. We get a lot of questions or a lot of customers calling and be like, I'm doing local playback. I don't see anything. Is my recorder not recording? Well, you'll see that there's two playbacks. So playback here is from the recorder. Local playback means that you saved stuff to your computer and you want to play that back. I don't believe I have anything saved here, but real easy. If I had some recordings on my PC, I would be able to search that here the same way I would the previous recording. You can do a search, they come up, and I'd be able to play those back. I don't have enough room on my PC to be saving video, but
yeah. Well, this function actually gives you a little bit more in depth. So if you have already recorded video onto your PC, it lets you kind of get into detail and kind of fine tune your recordings that you want to ultimately save and maybe send out.
And another option for this, it's like a fail safe. You know, if you're concerned with, you know, someone stealing the recorder or something happening to the recorder, you know that you can have a PC recording this stuff, and you can, you know, just a little peace of mind knowing you have a little backup there. You know, it's another way to look at it.
Right.
So good.
Really quick, let me interrupt you here, Mike. If you have any questions, if whatever it is, feel free to you know, shoot us a little text on that question box that you have there, and we'll be more than happy to answer it at any time, anywhere. Also, I do have a question from David over in New York. He's asking how many devices can we add to the VMS? How many recorders can we add to the VMS?
That's a very good question. So we just had this upgraded to 1,000 devices. So I mean, that's more than enough, I think, that even we have here.
Yeah, if you have 1,000 devices, you're doing good. So yeah, that's a great question. Thank you, David.
Did you have another question?
Next question here. Is there cloud storage options?
So the cloud storage options comes from the recorder. In essence, if you're recording to the PC, it's kind of in a way a cloud, you know, your own personal cloud. But the software itself, the VMS does not have a cloud option. That would only come from the recorder itself. Recorders do have a cloud option. Let's say we're going over the VMS. Yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, if you have any more questions in regards to that, you know, we could you know, do a one-on-one, give us a call, and you know, we'll answer and get more into depth on that.
Sure. So I'm going to continue to go on. We have a log search option. What is this? So this is for logs. This is for the actual, you notice there's two options here. I got a local log, and I also have a remote log. Local log, again, anything local means you're dealing with the PC itself. So I can go ahead, I have different logs that I can search here. You know, I want to do only motion, only PIRs, different types of search. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna hit my search. Of course, I have to select the recorder first. I'm gonna hit my search, and you'll notice all the motion detections and all these personal vehicle detections, all these different detections come through. I'm able to see this in my log. Locally, this is stuff that happening in the computer as I'm watching. What about if I want to see just stuff that I would say I had my VMS off and my recorder's been recording all night and I want to see what happened? I can also search the recorder's log. Again, I got to select a device, go ahead, and there you go. Now I can see what's going on in the recorder as I had my VMS off and I want to, you know, see what's going on. Very easy, very simple, pretty self-explanatory.
Now, David, can we view login activity from this log? Can
Definitely.
we, let's say you want to know how many people logged in, how many, you know, what they did, and you know, how long they were logged in? Definitely.
You can see here that I switched the system. We had a user log in and do an NTP change time. You know, I can get all this information. And if anybody did any configuration changes, I can do that. You can see here there was a configuration change that was done today. Yeah, I can get all that information. Anything I need that the recorder does in fact keep, I can retrieve that information.
This log is a great tool for let's say you're an admin for you know, a bigger system that has multiple users. Yeah, you could go in here and, you know, manage and see, you know, who has been in, what they did, and kind of keep track of everything that goes on with the recorder from here, which is, yeah, great tool.
So moving on, next, AI search, very important. So now, you know, all of our recorders are equipped with with artificial intelligence, and we want to be able to search those things, you know. So here's where we would do it from the VMS. Of course, you can always do it from the recorder. That's a whole different webinar we'll get into in the future. But the VMS people, you know, I have these AI features. I am not at my recorder. I'm using my VMS. How do I retrieve this stuff? So very simple. The first one here is going to be face detection. So I can select my recorder that I want to search. I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to do a search down here. I'll just search today. And there, this is from the last 24 hours is our cleaning lady from last night. You know, I can go ahead, I can select these faces. I can do instant playback and see what was going on when she was here. You can see that detected a face. Very simple to do. Couple clicks, bam. What's next? I also can do my human vehicle detection. Very simple, same thing. Select my recorder. You see some, and down here some information. What do I want to do? Line crossing, perimeter intrusion. I'm going to do pedestrian detection for now. Hit my search. There we go. Every person that was detected on our cameras will come up here. And of course, I got, you know, many pages of this that I can go through. Very simple. Again, a couple clicks, you're able to retrieve that information. This next one here is repeat visitors, right? How many times did a certain person come through here? I'm going to select my recorder. I'm going to search. There's myself. 31 times I was here, and I can click there and see all the time, do a little playback, and it'll show me every time that I walk through the camera.
Actually, I got one more question from James over in South Dakota. He's asking, how many times does the person need to go buy the camera for the camera or the system to interpret it as a repeat visitor?
So more than once. And it'll actually go, if you do a repeat visitor search, it'll even show one time. But you know, of course, you want to see how many times more than one are there. So yeah, anything after one, you're gonna get this list here of people in the database.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go, James. Thanks for the question.
And then lastly, of course, is our newest feature, license plate detection. Right? Very, very cool. Again, I select my recorder. I'm gonna go back to the first of the month here, do a search, and searching. There we go. Bunch of license plates. I can just select my license plate here, and it's actually just going to the database.
So pretty much license plate recognition works exactly the same ways as facial recognition, but just license plates.
Yep.
So very easy to use, very, very simple to use.
So this is, again, just to retrieve the information, and I'll be going over how to add information, how to add license plates and faces to the database. It's a couple icons down. We'll get there, but for now, this is how you retrieve the information. So let's come back here. The next one is data analysis. So this is just going to be how to not retrieve faces, but just the data that comes along with it. So for instance, this first one here is face detection. I'm going to select my recorder, and this is going to give us graphs, right? So how many faces came through? You can see here I have how many were on the allow list, how many were on my block list, and how many strangers came through. So you can just go through times of day and how many people came through. Same thing with all of these. Same thing with my human vehicle detection, right? I'm going to hit this. I want to search. It's going to show me a graph of how many humans and vehicles came through. It's just data retrieval of, if someone wants to grab this information for whatever reason.
Whether it's marketing, whether it's just managing traffic, whatever it is you use it for, it's there, for your use.
Here's a pretty cool another feature that we have. Heat mapping. Manny, what would we use heat mapping for? What would customers use heat mapping for?
You know what? Heat mapping is used mainly in retail locations, retail stores. They want to know, where, traffic or people are congregating the most, what area of the store gets more traffic. And at that point, they use it to maybe put different products on that shelf, or maybe something that's not selling, they bring it up to that area where there's more traffic. But that's primarily the main use for this.
That's a pretty cool tool, though, to have on your system if you're running a business and you want to know where, everybody's going to buy stuff.
So, Mike, tell us about the colors.
Awesome!
Yeah, different colors.
Yeah, you can see at the bottom down here, there's a little key. So blue would be low traffic, and then all the way to red, which is high traffic. So heat map just meaning, the hot areas of where people are traveling within the view of the camera. And lastly here is attendance. So I'm going to do an attendance search. I think I'm the only one in there. There I am. I can go, I can see when I clocked in, when I clocked out, and I can also see the live video of, you know, when I happen to come through there or when I pass through the camera.
Right. So what Mike means by clocking in and clocking out, it's as soon as the camera captures his face in the morning, it automatically clocks him in. And you know, you could use that with uploading you know, employees into the database, and at that point you could turn this function on and, you know, do attendance.
Yep. And you also see here, that was the attendance record, and then attendance calculations. This is going to tell me, you know, if I was absent, if I was here, how many hours I worked for the week, you know, things of that nature. So moving on, data analysis. Next is AI scene. So this is pretty cool. This is for live viewing. So if you're viewing your cameras live and you want to see some statistics of what's going on, this one is line crossing. I don't believe I have line crossing enabled, but you'll see here that I have it set for, you know, 10 people. And I'm going to get an alert when either people enter or exit, or when I have 10 people in the line of view in total. So we can do line crossing. This next one is human vehicle detection. And, you know, I can see, I think I have it set right here for the last year. And you can see up right here on the top, you know, I've had 86,000 people recognized within the last year. It's a lot, but I can go all the way back to a day. You know, how many people within the last day? 1,000 people were recognized in the last day. And I can, you know, it's just a live view. I can see statistics live of what's going on with my cameras. And this last one here is, again, attendance. I can see what time I started, what time I clocked out, and I'll just get some live statistics basically from the cameras and some of our AI scene functions. Okay, moving on. We did go over device management when we initially started, so I'm going to move on from that one. Alarm config, pretty important. So this alarm config has to do with the PC itself, with the VMS itself, not with anything that's going on with the recorder. But if I'm using this PC as a recorder and using it to record video, and I'm using it live, I can come in here and I can set up some, you know, motion capture, some input output, video loss, you know, different types of alarm triggers up here. And, you know, I can have these send me verbal alarms or pop-ups to come up when something happens within the picture. And we'll get to see that in a bit when I go over the live view. This is where you would set that up. Moving on is Cruse Setting. This is pretty cool. We get a lot of questions about this. So typically when you have a lot of recorders and a lot of cameras, and you just want to see few cameras from, you know, maybe 3 from one recorder, 2 from the other, you can set up this strategy, right? So I can come here and I can pick from my recorders what cameras I want. I just drag them in. I want one from this one. I want one from my demo. I can just pull them in, give it a name, and then how many seconds I want it before it starts to go through a cruise viewing.
Yeah.
And save it. You know, I can do multiple ones. I can have multiple levels, multiple recorders, multiple ways to set this up.
A good example would be, let's say you have a customer that owns a chain of McDonald's, let's say 4 or 5 McDonald's, and they want to view, you know, the register at each one of the, you know, locations. They could view them here, and they could switch over, you know, through this program or through this feature here.
Exactly. Yep. So that's pretty cool. This next one is account management. So account management referring to, again, the VMS, not the recorder. So if you want to do or deal with users in the recorder, we would do that in the recorder. This is for the VMS. So I can hit this plus here. I can add a user, and then I can add what I want them to do. You know, all these different rights and permissions, what channels I want them to be able to see, and what I want them, allow them to do within the recorder itself.
So yeah, you can restrict certain users to, you know, to have just certain functions. I mean, if you just want them to view cameras, you set them just to view cameras. If you want them to have admin rights, maybe change record schedules and so forth, you could actually give them permission. So you have total control of what that user is able to do or not do, for that matter.
Yeah, and that would be multiple people using the same machine. So each machine that's running the VMS will have its own user rights, right? So just wanted to make that clear. That can cause some confusion sometimes.
Got a question here from we got a question from Jorge over at Where's he from there? Nevada?
Yep.
Nevada. And he's asking, how many users can you set up?
So there's
Oh,
no
max.
limitations for users on this software. The recorder itself has the limitations. I think it's 26 users we have on the recorder, but the software, I can have endless users, as many as I want, because there's no limitation since it is a PC and it's a computer program where I have a lot more things we can do.
There you go, Jorge. Load them up, Jorge.
Mhm.
There you go.
So local recording. So this is just to set up where I want to send my recordings to. I can edit, I can modify the path of where I want to save my recordings to the PC when I do so. Real easy. I just click here and I can set when I want it to overwrite. So if I wanted to dedicate a whole drive to just the VMS, I'm able to do that, just like the recorder. Very simple, very straightforward. That brings us to file management. Okay, so file management, meaning stuff I save to my PC, right? If I want to go and retrieve that video or see what's going on. Very similar to the playback, local playback, but this is just files I want to see. So I can drop this here. I have some cameras here. I want to do this and I want to search, see if I have any files. I don't think I have any. Let me go back to the first. Maybe I have some in there. Yes. There we go. There's some screenshots that I took earlier in the week. These are stored in my PC. I can go real quick and, view those. I can also do the same with video I have on my PC. I can go, let me go back to the first. Maybe I might have some videos that I've saved. I do. There's some video that I've saved from doing playback or live video that I saved and just it's archived in my computer. That's another way to retrieve some video. Moving on, system config. So very important. So this, I should have went over this initially, but it's it's a little down on the icon, so we'll go through it now. You want to set this up as soon as you set up your software. Very important. So of course, language. The majority of us have it on English. I want to keep logs in my computer for how long. We have it set to a week by default. So live stream, meaning when I first turn on my PC and I first view this here, how do I want this to come up? We recommend substream because you're able to see more cameras at a lower bit rate that comes through, and you will be able to do that here. You can set, I want it to be mainstream. If you wanted to do that, you can. We don't recommend it, but be able to do that.
Yeah, it would consume a lot more resources if you do that.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then other things that you might want to start when you start the program. Ignore any hard drive errors. Auto login, that's pretty important. You open it up, you don't want to log in all the time. You want to just start up. Resume live status. So right when you start the program, you want it to just go right into your live cameras. You don't want to have it start up on the home screen. Enable sync to device channel names, very important. So if you go and you change all the names in your recorder and then you run the live view and you see that they all say channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, you spent a lot of time naming all these cameras, right? Let me go through these and you'll see here that these names are changed to the actual model number of the cameras that we have, right? So it's pretty important to have that option. You don't have to go and change them. Yeah, you can change them here. I can hit this and I can rename it, but then you're kind of doing a little bit of redundant work. So moving on. Next we'll come to file config, right? It's very important. When I'm saving files from my VMS to my computer, how do I save them? By default, it's set to RF, which is raw footage. That's good for if you're going to court, you want to unedited footage. Sometimes the courts want to see that. But most of the time, we'll be saving it in AVI or MP4. Both are popular. MP4 is what YouTube uses a lot. AVI is a little older. Both work just fine.
Yeah, MP4 and AVI, you could actually view them from your computer.
Yeah.
RF, what do you need to view RF?
So RF, you need a player or you need this software to do playback. Those are the only two ways to do the RF. You will not be able to play it through your computer's codec or Windows Media Player. It will not work.
So if you're sharing files, if you're sending files to somebody, whether it's law enforcement or a friend or whatever, yeah, the recommended format would be AVI or MP4.
Yep. So next we'll see path. Again, this is where you want to save your video and save your pictures that you might save. I went over it. It's just a different way to get there. Again, you just select your folder, and it'll be saved. That'll be your save path. If you want to set an alarm, if you're running out of hard drive space, you're able to set this here. I have it set to 600 megabytes. That's pretty low. If you're down to 600 megs on your computer, you're in trouble.
Yeah,
You need a new hard drive.
Upgrade.
Yeah. And then again, I talked about verbal alarms coming out. This is where you can set those verbal alarms, the paths to the sound that it makes. You would click these here. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I have my sound muted because I don't want any feedback coming through, but these will be the verbal alarms I'll have coming through. And then of course, lastly, some hotkeys, just some shortcuts. If you want to just, hit a certain key and take you straight to whatever, you want to go to here. So moving on, next would be Emaps, a very cool feature. I don't think gets used enough.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, very, very cool.
So first I'm gonna show you how to add one. You see this giant plus here. Hit the plus. I give my map a name. Just name it map, right? And then I navigate where I have the map saved. I already have one saved here, and then it'll come up like this, right? Once I get this open, I can double click here. Now I can drag cameras of my map, my floor plans. I can see what cameras I want to actually put, like in real live scenario. I just get one. I can drag it. Maybe it's in the corner. Bam, there it is. And now if I want to preview these, say something's going on, I get an alarm. Bam, something's happening. I can automatically see live in that same scenario what's going on with that camera and who came through, in a certain area.
Yeah, security guards love this feature.
Yes.
It gives them a visual of where the camera is, and if there's trouble, they know what camera to go with, and then what the next camera would show.
Yep. And we can have multiple layers, multiple levels. You have multiple floors. There's my first floor. I can add a second one, third one, fourth one. If it's a high rise with multiple stories, you can add those individually. Very cool feature. I think needs to be used a little more.
Yeah, I agree.
So moving on, last, I talked about the AI functions and features. We learned how to retrieve that information, but how do I add faces? How do I go through my database and be able to use this function more to my ability, right? So the first thing I see here is just my model, the model that I'm using. Best bet is just auto select, let the recorder, it's smart enough to know which one it wants to use. So most of the time we don't need to mess with this. But I want to add some faces, right? So here we go. Here's my face recognition section. And you notice that I have some groups here, my allow list, my block list, and then a stranger list, right? And I can go in here, I can add a new list if I wanted to. I can save that. I can delete it, whatever I want to do with lists that I have here. But I want to add some people to my list. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to do an edit. You can see that I'm already in there, but I want to add some more people. Very simple to do. I can do an import, right? And I want to import from where? I can do a local image, meaning an image that I have on my computer, a local image directory. Maybe I have a whole bunch of pictures, or from the device itself, right? I'm going to do a search. This is searching in the recorder. We can see I have a bunch of faces that it caught, and I can just, very simple to add one. Select what I want to add, select that person, give the name, age, certain descriptions of that person, and I can go ahead, I can add it to my database. Very simple, pretty self-explanatory. That's a face recognition. This next, I'm going to jump down to this last one because this is license plates. Works the same exact way. I can hit this edit. I already have a license plate there. Same scenario. I want to import a new license plate. I'm actually going to go back. Let's go back to the beginning of the month. I should have some license plates in there. I'm going to do a search. There we go. A bunch of license plates. Again, I select the one I want, hit OK, and now I can enter this information, what type of color the car is, what kind of brand, information like that. And I skip this one. I'm going to go back to it here. This one is pretty cool. So what this is I can import a database or export, right? I want to actually export first. I want to export this database, save a file, and then I want to import it to multiple devices, right? So I have a bunch of recorders across, multiple locations, and I want to either faces or license plates have that same database universal, maybe for employees, maybe for whatever reason. I'm able to do that with the one click of a button. Import, export my recorder and the password, and bam. Now all my recorders have that same database, and I don't have to sit there and, you know, go back
one by one.
By one. It can be a very time-consuming thing to do.
Well, let's go back really quick to the block or the allow list and do not allow list. The block list is actually, let's say you have employees that have been dismissed or fired, and you want to know when they come back on the premises. This is a very good tool to, you know, get alarms when the camera detects that face or that license plate, for that matter.
For sure.
Yeah, give you an alert and lets you know that this person that's not wanted on the premises is back. So yeah, that's a good tool.
Yeah, very, very important tool. So went through all of them, though. I saved the best for last, which is our main menu. This is where, you know, most users are going to spend most of their time viewing cameras. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go try to get through this. It's not too fast. I hope everybody can stick with me. There's a lot of stuff to go through on here.
Remember, there's a raffle, so stick with us.
So off the bat, right, I'm going to close this here so I can show. We open up our app. We come to this window. I see I have a couple recorders here. There's some icons here. The first icon is for live viewing. I want a couple ways I can view all my cameras. I can right click and I can open all channels. Boom. They all come up very easily.
Do you have it set for substream or mainstream?
I have it set for substream. Like I said, if you can see up here on the right, the CPU, I'm using about 2 bars. If I was to make this all mainstream, I wouldn't even be able to do anything. It would take up all my CPU power, and then I'd be stuck here. So,
but that being said, if you double click on the image, it does give you the mainstream.
Here's my mainstream. You can see that picture became very clear when I double click that.
Nice and clear, yes.
Yep, and I can also do that from here. Substream, I can just now you can see my substream's not as clear. As I change that, and then go back to mainstream again, and bam, super clear. So substream's just that viewing stream, you know, and when it looks small, you can't even tell the difference. So you want to view that substream live.
All right, I got a question from Pete here in California. He's asking how many cameras can be viewed at one time. So
good question. Yeah. Good question. So down here, I can see 128 cameras at once. I don't know who would be seeing 120 cameras.
That's a lot of cameras. But you know what? The capability is there. If you need to use it for some reason, yeah, no, it's available for 128 cameras.
And again, if I had multiple screens, I can just grab this and pull it over to my next screen. You know, I can have its own. If I have 2, 3 screens, each one can have its own separate tab. Let me come back here. Let's go back here. Okay.
All right.
So we bring this back in. Let's continue to go through these icons here. So this next icon up here is this little 4 squares. Now, again, we talked about the strategy. I went through the strategy icon. What these are is the different views. So I have my first view, right? I have this set to only show these 4 cameras. And I believe I had it set for 7 seconds or 7 to 10 seconds. After that, it'll go to my next view. I only have 1 set. I would have to set this here. Here we go. We can count that down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Oh, and I did have 7 seconds. Goes to my next window. So that's for cruising. If I wanted to see, you know, to set my cruise, I can see multiple cameras, and it'll go through on its own. I don't have to do any switching. That's this tab here. I can have, you know, this is my second one that I made. This one's just 1 camera. Again, I can hit my play. It'll go to my different strategies. Very easy to use, simple click. This third button here is my PTZ. And I'm actually going to go to main view because this is pretty cool. I like showing this off.
Yeah, it's
my PTZ is pretty good. I'm gonna I'm gonna do a zoom on my PTZ. And our PTZs are excellent, by the way. If you can tell, this is about 2 miles away.
Yeah, roughly right around 2 miles. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I can get that in, let it do its autofocus, take a couple seconds. You'll see it bounce. There we go. And I get my PTZ functions right here. Zoom, focus. I can set my presets or anything else that I need to do. And I can move her around if I need that. So that's my PTZ function. We just go back. I like showing that. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's fun. We gotta get somebody to trim that tree down a little bit so you can see the San Dimas a little clearer.
For sure. So that's the PTZ function. Let me come out of here. Let me go back to my multiple views here. Let's just do a 16 view for now.
Well, from the PTC controls too, you can operate the varifocal lens on a varifocal camera.
Correct.
So it doesn't have to be a PTZ. You could actually go into any varifocal camera that you have and zoom in and out from that PTZ control. So
So moving on, some other options here about right clicking, right? So I can right click over this. Like I said, I can open all channels. I can close all channels. I can go directly to my playback. I can do a manual alarm, meaning if I have siren on my camera or input outputs on my camera and I want to trigger those, I'm able to do that. What else can I do? Talkback. If I'm using the two-way audio function, I can do that here. Again, I can synchronize my names. And a real important function down here is remote configuration. So what this does, let me click that, let me show you, is take me directly to the NVR or DVR. And I can go and I can do all the settings, about 95% of the settings that I can do in the recorder, I can do from this menu here. If you're familiar with our NVRs, you can see that. Yeah, it looks familiar. It's everything that we have.
Yeah, for an integrator, you know, if a customer has an issue with the camera, if a customer has needs any changes, you could actually log in and, like Mike said, do 95% of what you're able to do on site on the VMS. So it can save you and probably will save you a trip out to the location. You can do everything remotely.
Remotely, yep.
Yeah, good tool to have.
And this is a whole webinar in itself. So, you know, coming up, we'll have a recorder webinar, and we'll go over this. We'll go over that in more detail, but this is how you get there. So moving on. Next, so I'm going to go over some of these pictures. When I click on these actual cameras, I got some icons down here at the bottom, right? So this is still shot. I can take a still shot. It's going to take me directly to it. If I click that, I also got a manual record. I can do digital zoom, right? You can just select an area. I can do a digital zoom.
Back to manual record. You click once to start, you click another time to stop, right?
Yeah. So let's do that real quick. Click once, that starts it. You can see on the bottom right, started recording. Click it again, stopped it. There's a link to my.
Yeah. So if you're viewing something that's going on, you want to actually, you know, save footage, you could, as you're watching it, you could click, you know, record, and then when you're done, you know, click it again, and you'll have footage of what you were looking at.
Yep. Again, we have a talk feature. If you have using the two-way audio, you can just click that. It allows you to talk. Turn that off, turn the zoom off. This here is just for tags. See something going on, you want to make a quick tag, so you can go back and check that later. You're able to do that. And lastly is this instant playback. So I can hit this. You'll notice it's going to take a couple seconds. This will instantly take me to my playback. What's going on live as we're looking. So I can just, you know, I don't have to go to the playback tab. I can do it from here. Pretty simple. I hit this little arrow, and it'll take me back to my live view. So the icons at the bottom. What if I right click my picture here, right? So I can stop my preview, again, take a screenshot, some of the same icons that are there. This is just in Word form. But what I want to go over is this video setting here. So I click this video setting. This allows me to change the name, change the format of the time and date, change some colors. But the most important here is this light feature, or this deterrence feature. If the camera has a light, I'm able to turn that on from here. If it has a siren, I can turn that on from here manually. I can set the levels to both volume and intensity of light here.
So these are certain cameras that have these features. Not all cameras have these features, but our active deterrent and low light cameras, or full color at night cameras, have lights that you can turn on and off. And
if you know, maybe you set the schedule to not have the light turn on or not have the siren turn on, but you happen to be looking at a live view of your camera, and you see someone, suspicious around your car, or, in the parking lot, you can turn on that siren, hopefully, scare them away as a deterrent or something like that. Pretty cool feature to have. So continuing on, we got some stuff here at the bottom. This first one here is going to be sound. If you have microphone enabled, you want to hear what's going on, I can click that here and adjust the volume to see what's going on with that camera. Again, this is just to stop the video. We went over the different strategies of how to do my groupings. If I had, personal layouts made out, I can change it here as well as up at the top. This is to get the Cruse going. We went over that earlier, just to see your own personal layouts. This will just change cameras one by one. This right here. This again is the manual alarm trigger, right? If you want to see some manual alarms go by or trigger them, input outputs or alarms, I'm going to do that. And this is just aspect ratio. So stretch will give you the whole picture. Original, you can see kind of like old school TV, 4:3. That's what that is. 16:9 is a little stretch.
Some of you might not remember that format, but some will.
16:9, but we keep it stretched just to may as well, you know, take advantage of the full screen. Layouts you can do from 1 all the way to 128, and you can also do an edit and do your own personal, you know,
customize it. Yeah, customize it
3:3 all the way to 8:8, or you can even merge some together. So just personal preference. And this is where you would save layouts. You know, once I go ahead and do my edits, I want to save them. That's here. This button would be a full screen, right? If I wanted to get rid of, again, all the toolbars and all that stuff going on, it's a little noisy. I just want just my picture. I'm able to do that. And lastly, right here on the right, pretty important. This is going to be for live alarms coming through, right? I will have someone coming through. I have human detection. You can see that one on top. Or if I had some vehicles coming by, face detection, all that type of stuff would come through. I also, not only do I get an image on the side, but I also get an alarm notification down here on the left, and I can set what kind I want. We talked about enabling a verbal alarm. That's where I can do that here. I don't have it enabled. Alarm sound, I could block those.
Back to verbal alarm. Can you record what you wanted to say, or
you can set a WAV file, and we can see we have someone coming through here, and right away we're getting, you know, human detection, face recognition, all the different triggers, AI triggers and stuff like that coming through.
And you can see all the alarms on the bottom left-hand corner getting triggered as you walk through. So yeah, this is exactly what this is supposed to do.
Yeah, and if you're familiar with the recorder, the live view recorder, it's very similar to that. You get that pop-up on the right, and it lets you, you know, see live what kind of triggers you're getting. So go ahead and close this, and I can minimize that, and I can get rid of that if it's annoying to the person or to the user. I can, you know, enable that or disable that. That's pretty much it. I don't know if we have any more questions.
No, I got one more question here from, what's that, David? David from Idaho. He wants to know if you can add or Onvif cameras to Onvif cameras.
We just added this new feature. So this is a pretty cool tool, because now you can use not only with our brand, but if, say, you know, you have an older some older cameras that you want to integrate, you know, be able to do that here. I can plus, and I can, you know, protocol, I can add an Onvif camera and just same enter the information, and you're able to do that as well. Very, very useful tool, you know. We have another question here. Can we get a copy of this recording? This recording will be on YouTube for everybody. We'll have it by a little later on today. Anybody who wants to use it, or we can send it to you. Send you a copy. Not an issue at all.
Yeah, no, definitely. We could send you a copy to the link on YouTube, or send you a copy directly of the recording. So just reach out to your sales rep, and they should be able to help you out with that.
So let me transition back over here. Okay. So yeah, that concludes this part of the training.
And we are going to we're gonna go and see who the lucky winners of the cameras here are, and can we give us a second here. We're
having more questions.
The randomizer here really quick. Feel free to ask questions while we're waiting here. There we go.
So we're gonna just go and see who's still here, who's the winner of our raffle. Let me give us a second to see these participants and see who.
Yeah, we're gonna put them on a randomizer really quick and have DC choose.
Let's see.
Okay, the first winner is Alex Diaz.
All right, Alex.
Alex Diaz, congratulations. We will get that camera out to you. And the second one here, give me a second.
Looks like Ron Hastings.
Ron Hastings, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, we'll get that out right to you. You know what? I will contact your rep out here and see so they could contact you and get shipping information, all that good stuff. But you know what? That concludes our webinar. Any questions? Any anything that you might any questions you might come up with maybe later on today or tomorrow, or whatever. Feel free to reach out to your rep or anybody here at Bolide to help you out. And again, this webinar will be on YouTube for, if you need to use it or kind of review it. Again, thank you from everybody here at Bolide for joining us. And we do have another webinar coming up next month. Stay tuned for the topic on that one, but I'm sure it'll be a good one. Thank you again. You have a great day and weekend, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.